Hello you guys, and welcome to How to Hustle Happier. If you're new here on this channel, I like to try out tons of side hustles so that I can help you guys find the best one. Today we're going to be talking about Instacart, which is one of my top side hustles, and it is actually a top side hustle because there is an opportunity when you do it to get tip increases. When customers shop on Instacart, they are able to put in a certain tip amount. However, they can also go in and change that after their delivery. So my goal every time I shop is to get a tip increase. Now, I'm able to sense kind of from the beginning if I think that's going to happen. Sometimes I'm off on my guesses, but oftentimes I'm right. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the steps you can take to get those tip increases. And when I say tip increases, I mean maybe they change it on the app to a higher percentage, maybe they just add an extra $10, or maybe they realize, oh, I've got some cash on hand, I'll just give them a 10 or a 20. That I would say is actually pretty common, to get handed extra cash that you weren't expecting. Okay, so whenever you start an Instacart shop, you send a little custom greeting to the person you're shopping for. I always recommend doing this. I've heard of some people skipping this step, but I think it's super important to kind of build that connection with your customers. So when I started Instacart, I put in a little custom greeting. I think it was 3 sentences long, and I actually recently went back and changed that to 2 sentences when I saw on Facebook, in a Facebook group I'm part of, customers complaining that the greeting that they were getting from their shopper was like paragraphs. I kid you not, it was paragraphs. No punctuation, it was kind of a mess. So I highly recommend having a short greeting so that they actually read it, they know your name, and they maybe get to know you a little bit. This is my custom greeting, so it's pretty straightforward. I do like that I put an emoji in there. I just think it makes me seem a little bit more like a human and less of a robot and a person through a screen. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I do prefer to have an emoji in there. So once you send your custom greeting, it's a great sign if they respond back to you. This is a response that I got recently, and it just made me so happy because, I mean, I can't say that this person tip increased. I think they already tipped me $40, but they were so helpful, and to just know that they were there, ready and willing to help, I was so much more relaxed than usual. And if they don't respond, you know, you can keep messaging them. Hopefully they will respond, and oftentimes rude customers will not respond, and then all of a sudden if you make a replacement they don't like, they'll be like, don't do that. And it's like, okay, you could have responded to my message sooner, and they don't. But you know, some people are in a hurry and they're doing Instacart to save time, so they only message you when they absolutely have to. But still, shorten that custom greeting, make it straight and to the point, and also friendly. Okay, now if you are lucky enough to not have to do any replacements, that's great. However, replacements, especially during COVID, have been pretty common. So when you are making a replacement, look and see what you're saying, because they do get a little notification when you make a replacement, but you should also respond so that they hear from you what you're doing and they're not getting all just these notifications. She did this, she did this. I think it's best to respond and say, hey, so they happen to be out of so-and-so. Do you mind if I replace it with this? Let me know if that works for you. Or you can say, let me know if that doesn't work for you. I prefer do, just so that we get more contact and I get to know them a little bit better. But either way, make sure that you're being super friendly about the replacements, because I found myself before being like, they're out of this, do you want this? Because maybe that's how I would text somebody, but I would not recommend doing that. That just does not come across as professional and friendly as being like, hey, do you mind if, or is this okay with you, or do you prefer, better than just they don't have it, does this work, you know? And also little smiley faces, exclamation points. I think that those always just come across as more friendly. May sound really unimportant, but these are the only interactions you're probably going to have with this person, so definitely make the most of it. The next thing you should be doing if you want to increase the likelihood of higher tips is definitely let them know about what's going on with the refunds. Explain, either take a tag of where the item is missing, so say they're out of this certain kind of milk, take a picture of that barcode so that they can see, oh, there's none of that milk behind there. Or if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's kind of a toss-up, but don't just refund them and not say anything, because I think that honestly can come across as, oh, I didn't know where it was. Whereas if you say, this item is out of stock, I'm so sorry, Instacart will put in a little message for you, but honestly, that message just is kind of confusing because it has a weird title the way Instacart has it set up. So I put in my own custom thing and I just say, hey, I'm so sorry they don't have the milk you requested, so I'm going to refund it because I don't see any backups, you know, that kind of thing. Another thing that I like to do is if I'm having a hard time in the checkout line, as in like there's 10 people in front of me, or even there's just 2 people in front of me and the checker's taking a long time, I'll send a little message and say, hey, I just want to let you know that there's a little bit of a situation at the checkout. There's just a long wait. I'm so sorry about that, but I'll be here until I can check out and then I'll be on my way. And I think that helps people know that you're not just dilly-dallying, sitting there on your phone. It's hard to believe that people would think that, but honestly, I've had people before. I had one person be like, why aren't you checked out yet? And I was just like, haha, maybe because you can't always check out immediately and you need to wait in line. Like, I remember before COVID especially, I would have to wait in line for like 10 minutes to check out sometimes. Sometimes it just happens and you can't avoid it. So let them know what's going on and they should be sympathetic. So once you get through that checkout, just check in with your customer and let them know, hey, I'm gonna be there in 10 minutes or 12 minutes or whatever. I normally say the exact amount of time that Google Maps says it's gonna take me to get there. So I'll say, hey, I'll be there in 10 minutes, just wanted to let you know. And then they have a heads up, and whether they wanna be waiting by the door, if you've done a really good job, then they can be prepared with cash, or, you know, then they just know, maybe they know to put their dogs in the back room so that you can come to the door and not be attacked. You know, it's just a good idea to let them know. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people don't really take that seriously because it's at the very end of the whole Instacart shopping and delivering process, but it's kind of important. It's the actual delivery. Make sure you're doing it how they asked. I sympathize with you in that a lot of times people are so unclear about their delivery instructions. They'll say, oh, you can place it on the table, and then there won't be a table, and you're like, am I at the wrong house? I don't know what's up. Tell me I'm not the only one who's had a delivery instruction that's like completely random or doesn't match with the house because they forgot to change it or something. So in that case, you kind of can't do exactly what they say. But if the delivery instruction is, please do not ring doorbell, sleeping child, do not ring the doorbell because you want to talk to them. That is not a good idea. I mean, I can't see a lot of people doing that, but I'm just throwing that out there. If someone does not want you to ring the doorbell, they do not want you to ring the doorbell. It is very important to listen to knocking, doorbell, all those kinds of directions are pretty important and people can be pretty specific about them. Now, there is the instruction, I've gotten Instacart to tell me before, ring the person's doorbell, and it's not a note from the person. And in that case, I actually sometimes won't ring the doorbell because I have had customers come irritated to the door, like rushing and being like, what is it? And I'm like, oh, I'm just here with the groceries. And they're like, okay, you know, and they don't understand why I rang the doorbell. So if the customer directly asks you to ring the doorbell, be sure and do that. But if it's Instacart sending you a message, I would maybe not. Just make sure also, this is so important. I see people complain about this, and personally, I don't think it would be an absolute deal breaker if someone put my groceries in front of my door, but people hate when you put your groceries right in front of their door and then they can't open the door. I mean, basically they just have to push the door a little harder and the groceries fall over, and half the time they've fallen over already, so I don't think it's a big deal. But just, you know, just for the sake of them, put them like 3 feet back. I usually try and leave a little bit of space just so that they can step outside and grab them. And you know, you don't want them to be annoyed that the groceries are too far away either. Do not leave them like 10 feet away. Just try and space it so they can open the door and have a little bit of extra space. Now, lastly, if the delivery seemed to go really well, or honestly, sometimes even if it didn't go well and I didn't get to actually interact with the customer when I delivered, I like to send a little message that just says something along the lines of, hey, I just wanted to let you know, or maybe I won't even put in the I just want to let you know, I'll just say, delivered, smiley face, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for letting me shop for you today, or something like that. And sounding grateful towards them instead of making them feel like they need to be grateful towards you is actually a great way to go about things. I found that sending that last kind message can actually be really beneficial in the feedback, not just the tips, but you know, the feedback, the thumbs up, thumbs downs things, and then like comments and stuff. So those are my tips for you guys to up your tips on Instacart. Let me know if you guys have any other ideas that can help just make your customers feel more satisfied, because honestly, that's probably why they're gonna tip you. I've had customers who have seemed almost dissatisfied with the groceries and what they had at the store, but then if I am very friendly and we kind of get acquainted, they will up the tip, which is great for me, and you know, they had a good experience too. So just try and be friendly overall, but each of those things should help you guys. And do let me know if you have any more recommendations. Be sure and subscribe if you want to learn more about side hustling, what you can do to earn the most money, and what's honestly fun and not miserable. So I'll miss you guys until I see you next time. Bye!